And now let's look at a new, innovative way to view sporting events. We're here for the kickoff of DAZN in the USA. DAZN is a video streaming service dedicated to sports that provides fans with access to events both live and on demand.
It really wasn't that long ago when we would trade third and fourth generation VHS tapes to watch fights, and you would get excited. Oh, the tape from Japan came in the mail. You remember those?
Right.
days?
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Those were some magical days, man. That's when I became a fan, watching all the fights from Japan and all over the world, all the great martial arts fights. But I'm also a boxing fan, and I grew up watching, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler, even Muhammad Ali towards the end of his career. I mean, I'm just a combat sports junkie.
Now, you still could get these fourth generation tapes if you wanted, but there's a lot easier ways to watch them, and that's where DAZN comes in, jumping several generations of technology ahead. And how is this move to DAZN going to affect Bellator? Because it looks like it's a really big move that's, a real change for Bellator, not just streaming what you already have, but a real change for the organization.
What I love about it, Eddie, is that when I think about like how my son watches his media today, it's not like how I watch it. It's much different, right? And being on Paramount, we still will have fights on Paramount, and this is a great complement to our offering because, like, my son will love it. He's going to get the subscription, and he's going to want to watch his fights the way he watches them. And there are going to be people that want to watch it like this. And Eddie, if you think about the pay-per-view we did last year at Madison Square Garden, it's like $60, $70 pay-per-view, right? That same quality fight, we're bringing to DAZN on September 29th out of San Jose. So you're paying $9.95, but not only do you get our fight, the week before you get to see, AJ fight against Alexander live from London. So you get that fight that week, you get us the next week, and then you get boxing the week after, then you get back to us with the Bader Mitrione fight on a simulcast. I mean, if you're a combat sports guy, this is a tremendous value.
Now, do you think this will change some of the approach? I know there was talk of doing, I think you mentioned it also, a welterweight tournament. Do you think this will make it easy to bring in not just the old veterans, but some of the younger, up-and-coming original fighters that you'd be associated with?
Well, I think that there is a market for the seasoned legends of our sport. And that's like the Rampage Jacksons. I would even say Chael Sonnen is in that mix a little bit. Fedor's in the mix, People love those guys, though. I mean, if you don't understand, they have a fan base that's massive. And they can still compete. Fedor knows he probably has a couple fights left. He wanted to end this tournament. He wanted to win the title, and then he said he might retire. But, he doesn't know until it's over what he's going to do. But I think that, Eddie, we offer our welterweight tournament with Lima versus Kreshkov, which is going to be a hardcore fight fan's dream, along with Rory MacDonald fighting Gegard Mousasi, moving up, champion versus champion. And then we offered Wanderlei Silva fighting Rampage Jackson. I mean, come on, that's a pay-per-view fight that easily would be $70. And it's just part of the offering here on DAZN, and that's what I loved about it, was making it a monthly subscription, something that people could afford, and you get tons of programming, not just one fight a month or one fight every other month that you're getting.
Can you talk, has there been any kind of change in terms of investment? Because obviously Bellator is owned by Viacom, but it will be, when they have their own streaming service they're working with that has Paramount. Paramount is on a couple different streaming services, but this is a little different. So do the performer, DAZN people now have a stake in Bellator? In other words, it's more than just streaming and showing the fight?
No, it's just strictly a license deal, but it allows us to put some of our biggest fights on this platform because they want to be in the big fight business, and we're going to deliver that. So To me, it was a win-win. You know, they want to be in the big fight business, and then we're going to deliver these massive fights for them. But like I said, you get boxing with it. You know, pretty soon you'll get another sport, and then pretty soon, you know, like they do in Japan, Switzerland, Canada, Germany. They just launched in Italy. You're going to see they are in the NBA, in the NFL. You'll start seeing them going after some of these other sports later. You watch. This is the ground floor, and this will become a full-blown sports channel at some point. But when you talk about combat sports, man, Eddie, what a great value.
Well, they're already starting to do that in Italy. They've gotten the Serie A football, which is a major league. You know, people outside of Italy may not know, but that's like getting Major League Baseball or NBA or something. And the rights for a lot of the major American sports are up in 2021. It's not that far off, and I think they're going to be right in the mix, and I think they're going to grab at least some of that at that point.
I agree with you. They're going to change the landscape, Eddie, of how people watch sports. I believe that.
Who should we look for in terms of the up-and-coming fighters that maybe aren't? I mean, you mentioned Fedor and Rampage and Wanderlei. These guys, everybody that knows anything about MMA knows, but who are some of the younger fighters that people should pay attention to?
You know, when I think of our young guns, you know, our young guys coming up, you know, there's A.J. McKee, there's James Gallagher, there is
we used to see A.J.'s father fight. That says how old we are.
But there's a kid named Aaron Pico that, to me, is world-class talent already now. You're talking about a Golden Gloves boxer, was on the Olympic team to go to Rio, got cut, didn't make it, but he was at that elite level, wrestling at world championships when he was, you know, 16, 17, 18. We signed him at 18 years old, started letting him compete in, let's say, you know, going to classes and doing jiu-jitsu and start learning the martial arts side of it. But now
he also got knocked out in one of his early fights.
You know what? That can happen to anybody. You know, people lose in MMA. It's if you have an undefeated record of, you know, 30-0, it just means you didn't fight everybody that you're supposed to fight. But that can happen, and that was a great
Fedor.
Yeah, and even he lost. You know, Fedor lost too. And so
later, but I'm saying that 10-year run with that one bogus loss to Kosaka, I mean, it's just that's incredible because he fought everybody at that time.
He did, and he is the greatest of all time in my mind. And I've seen from the very beginning, you know, I mean, this is my 32nd year of being a martial art fight promoter. So I think I've seen a lot, and he definitely is the greatest of all time. I don't care what anybody says, he's the greatest.
I agree, and you can't look at him now. He's in his 40s, and he retired once or twice already. We're talking about in his prime, in his peak, that 10-year run, the greatest ever in MMA. And I've seen it from the very beginning, too. You know, Hoyce and Shamrocks and everybody else.
I agree. Listen, he was a very special athlete, very special time. And he really helped elevate MMA worldwide. You know, and so, you know, he's done a great job being a great brand ambassador for MMA worldwide. And I just saw him in Rome last week. He came to our fight. Eddie, he can't go anywhere. This guy was like, it was like the crowd went crazy. They're following around. Like they know him all over the world.
Now, where is Bellator? Is this going to be shown in different countries also, from what I understand?
When I started with Bellator, Eddie, we were in 43 countries around the world.
I mean, on DAZN.
Yeah, on DAZN, we're going to be shown in Japan, Italy, Germany, Switzerland, Austria, the U.S., Canada, and that's just a start. I've heard rumors that they're going to expand into another 10 countries before the end of next year. You know, you're talking massive distribution. So it's a good business model. I think they know how to do it. And we're going to provide some great content for them.
And some of these young wrestlers you got also, tell us about what's happening with them. Particularly a guy like Ed Ruth, who was just such a killer in his college career, 3-time NCAA champion at Penn State.
Yeah, I call it the Fab Five that we have. You know, we have just some great wrestlers that Tyrell Fortune, you know, the champ's here. The champ is here, right? He has his own entourage with him when he rolls deep. But it's been a lot of fun to watch him fight too. You know, when I watched his fight with Klitschko, it was really, really exciting. It was fun. But when I think about the wrestlers they just have a certain, I don't know what the word is, but a certain edginess to them, a certain rawness to them, and grit, maybe that's the word. They have certain grit to them that once they learn how to fight MMA, they become very dangerous. You look at Dan Henderson, Mark Coleman, Randy Couture, Kevin Randleman back in the day. I mean, the wrestling community has pumped out so many great fighters, and so when we started scouting, that's kind of where we went. We didn't find Aaron Pico in the boxing gym. We found Aaron Pico in the wrestling.
A lot of people thought he would go on to wrestle in college, which he did.
Yep, he gave that up to go compete in the Olympics and come fight in MMA. But we are going after the top Olympic level wrestlers in the country, and that's not going to stop. We have a really good recruiting system. Like if you think about Strikeforce, all the fighters that we signed and built from the ground up: T. Wood, Luke Rockhold, Daniel Cormier, Ronda Rousey, Sarah Kaufman, Misha Tate. Who else is there? King Mo. Look at Cyborg Santos, Mr. Cyborg Santos. Amanda Nunes. It's like we have a very good system of recruiting and growing this talent, and that we just brought it over to Bellator. So 3 years later, here we are, doing all these great fights, and it's because we have a good recruiting system and we have a good execution system.
All right. Anything while we wrap it up? Anything else you just want to let people know?
No, we have a big fight with Ryan Bader fighting Mitrione at the Mohegan Sun on October 12th. So please come up.
Congratulations on this deal.
Thank you, Eddie. It's nice seeing you.
Take care.
It's been a while, man.
Yeah.
Glad you're doing well.
Thank you.
And I'm Kristal Hart. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and thanks for watching.